their point of view that Michael Brown had actually turned and charged towards the officer. And they've heard all the testimony. Same with the grand jury in the Eric Garner case. So a jury of your peers said that justice is being done by not charging anybody. What do you say to that?
Well, I don't necessarily agree, but I will put myself in their place. But the point is there's a whole systemic culture where, you know, with you had white cops constantly controlling and having power over the poor people, people of color in the community, and people aren't represented within the community. And as long
Most of the communities that have ghettos are controlled by black cops. Let's get this shit right.
Thank you, Matt. Sean knows that
Come on, man.
You've seen this, you hear the same chants.
Bunch of idiots.
Justice, no peace, hands up, don't shoot. Sean, back to you.
And Jonathan, thank you. Meanwhile, earlier this week, the Congressional Black Caucus caught a lot of heat after taking to the House floor on Monday night to address the grand jury decision in Ferguson, with several members repeatedly referencing hands up, don't shoot. Watch this.
Hands up. Don't shoot. Hands up. Don't shoot.
Hands up.
It's a catchy phrase. Don't get me wrong.
All Americans,
But it's not what happened. Let's give the people real life facts.
across this nation. I want you to remember these 4 words: no justice, no peace.
These demonstrations
Are not factual.
show that this issue of detention and stopping of black men, especially black men in the streets, has been simmering below the surface.
Because you can't stop committing crime.
Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton, you say the issue of, you know, detention and stopping black men in the street. Did you read the evidence that was released in this case?
She did not.
I did not, and that is
Of course not.
concern.
Of course not.
For me, out of this tragedy, now Eric Garner,
Of course not.
a much larger concern and a much larger picture.
Get the fuck out of here.
That has to.
You have a position of power. You're saying that the evidence in the case, that the reason that Michael Brown was stopped was because the police officer had a report of a robbery, and Michael Brown fit the description of and he turned out to be the guy in the robbery. That was in the evidence that you say you won't take the time to read. Why?
I'm sorry. If you want to talk about something that other people said, you can. This is my view.
It's a fact, not other people say. It's not hearsay.
Racism, whether who struck John, we are losing the big picture. And the big picture, and the reason I think young people are in the streets, is because of the stops. The stops on the
You need to stop committing crime.
black so often.
Stop committing the crime.
Routine. This is an opportunity
To stop committing a crime.
between police departments and their own communities.
No, for you to stop committing a crime. That's what the problem is.
Who struck John in the evidence?
It's interesting.
That's for
It's
you.
fascinating.
That's for the pundits. That's not where I am. And if you invited me
fascinating
on
to me.
talk about where other people stand, then you're not going to get that.
It's
where
fascinating
I stand
to
is
me,
we ought to be
Congresswoman.
discussing. We ought to be using this as an opportunity
To stop
to
committing
discuss
crime.
How police and African American.
No, for people to stop committing a crime and fucking with the police. That's what you need to start using. That's a conversation starter. Stop committing a crime.
Woman have gone out there. Excuse me. I am talking about what happened on the House floor. They went out there with a narrative that is proven false. If you took the time, can I finish my question?
I went out there as well. I spoke for
With
myself.
hands up.
If you want to ask me what I said,
are you going to listen to my question, or are you going to speak over
no,
me? I have
I'm
a
going to
question
tell
for
you what I said, and I'm willing to talk about what I said. If you want to talk about what they said, you have them on your
All
program.
right, let me explain to you what the grand jury heard, because that's called evidence in a case. Let me put up on the screen what witness number 10 said. The police officer exited the vehicle with his weapon drawn, pursuing Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown was quite a distance, and he stopped, and when he stopped, he didn't get down on the ground or anything. He turned around and did some type of movement. I've never seen him put his hands up or anything. I can't recall the moment that he did. I'm not sure if he pulled his pants up or whatever he did, but I saw some type of movement. Then he started charging towards the police officer. The police officer then returned fire. When well, not return fire, open fire on Mr. Brown. Another witness said that Michael Brown charged Officer Wilson like a football player with his head down, which would render the narrative "hands up, don't shoot" a lie. Why would people in Congress, lawmakers, advance what is clearly, based on the evidence, a lie?
Because it makes money.
Get any of them to come on to explain themselves, because I didn't do any of that and I didn't say any of that.
But you sat there. Did you say anything against it?
The fact is that there was conflicting testimony. There was conflicting testimony. Some people are going off of the testimony you said. Some people are going over the other testimony. That's not my concern. My concern is to start a conversation with the police department.
Evidence isn't your concern.
If you want to talk to people who have other concerns, have them on your show.
Evidence isn't a concern if you're going to take a position on a case. In other words, if Michael Brown didn't rob the store, intimidate the clerk, if he didn't fight for the gun...
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. You can't talk about something you don't know nothing about. So you're just making money off of nothing.
That is my interest. Thank you very much.
No, there's no thank you very much.
Is there a lesson to be learned that people shouldn't rob stores, intimidate clerks, fight for cops' guns, and charge at them like football players with their heads down? Is that a lesson to learn?
That lesson gets taught every day, and I certainly hope
apparently not.
There's a larger lesson here.
It's larger than
that. That lesson is between law enforcement and the communities they police. Let's get together. Let's figure out what we can do about this.
Why, if you're not even willing to listen to the facts?
I hope you'll take the time to read evidence in the case before you talk about a case. I think it would be helpful.
I haven't talked about the case.
Yeah, you did.
We should have you going forward.
You did.
The case.
Well, you talked about the
you did.
Stopping of black men. You did talk about that.
That is a case. That's the whole case. That's the whole case, you stupid ass. That is about the whole case, you stupid ass. You ain't coming back at nobody with factual evidence.
Before you pass it, and maybe you should read about the case as evidence before you come.
You ask me questions.
I know, but you talk about a case, you didn't read the evidence.
I didn't talk about the case. I talked about the tension.
Look at the lies that are being preached, man. And then can we come together as a unified nation? We can with this piece of crap.
You should read it. Thank you, Congresswoman.
You should read it. Bye-bye.
My next guest.